The lack of female fighters in the Dragon Ball series is a topic that has long been a point of discussion within the fan base. Created by Akira Toriyama, the Dragon Ball franchise, which began in the mid-1980s, has become a cultural phenomenon, spanning manga, anime-movies, and video games. However, the portrayal of female characters, especially in terms of combat and development, has often been sidelined, with many powerful women reduced to more passive roles, particularly as housewives or support characters, despite their potential. Female fighters in the Dragon Ball universe. The Dragon Ball series does feature female characters with considerable combat abilities, but these characters are often either overlooked or not fully developed in terms of their fighting potential compared to their male counterparts. Some of the most iconic women in Dragon Ball history start out strong or with potential, only to transition into domestic roles later in the series. 1. Chi-Chi, the wife of Goku, is an early example of a woman with fighting capabilities. In her youth, Chi-Chi was a capable fighter. Her most notable moment was during the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, where she fought Goku and proved to be a competent martial artist. Despite this, after marrying Goku, her fighting skills are rarely, if ever, mentioned again. Instead, Chi-Chi takes on a domestic role, becoming the stereotypical housewife dedicated to raising her sons, Gohan and Goten. Chi-Chi's character represents a common trope in anime and Japanese storytelling of the time, where women, even those with combat abilities, eventually conform to traditional gender roles. Her shift from fighter to housewife is particularly jarring given that she could have been in an ongoing part of the action in the series, much like Goku. Hashner 2, Bulma. Bulma is another iconic female character in the Dragon Ball series. While she is not a fighter, she plays a crucial role as a genius inventor and the provider of vital technology, such as the Dragon Radar and the Saiyan space pods. However, her role is almost always in a supporting capacity to the male fighters. Bulma's story arc primarily revolves around her relationships with the male characters, especially her marriage to Vegeta. Despite her brilliance, she is never placed in a position to fight or develop physically, and much like Chi-Chi, her domesticity is emphasized as the series progresses. 3. Android 18. Android 18 is perhaps one of the most prominent female fighters in the Dragon Ball universe. Introduced during the Dragon Ball Z Android saga, she is initially a powerful villain, easily overpowering key male characters including Vegeta. However, after her marriage to Krillin and the defeat of Cell, her role diminishes significantly. While Android 18 remains one of the strongest female characters, she is rarely given the spotlight. Even during major battles, she is typically sidelined, and her relationship with Krillin and her role as a mother is highlighted more than her combat prowess. This is despite her immense power, which is comparable to some of the strongest fighters in the series. Hosh 4. Videl, the daughter of Mr. Satan, Hercule, is introduced in Dragon Ball Z as a strong and independent martial artist. She is fearless and talented, and her fighting ability is impressive, particularly for a human. However, after her marriage to Gohan, Videl's fighting career comes to a near standstill. Her pregnancy and role as a mother become the focal points of her character in Dragon Ball Super, and her previous strength is not given much emphasis thereafter. Videl's character is another example of a promising female fighter whose potential is never fully realized. Her transformation into a supportive wife and mother is a reflection of the broader trend in the series, where women's roles shift away from combat and toward domesticity. 5. Kale and Caulifla. The introduction of Kale and Caulifla in Dragon Ball Super was a step forward in terms of female representation. As two Saiyan warriors from Universe 6, they are among the few female characters given significant fighting roles. Kale, in particular, is noteworthy as she is a counterpart to the legendary Super Saiyan, Broly. Caulifla also stands out as a fierce and confident fighter, determined to grow stronger. Despite their potential, Kale and Caulifla's roles are limited to the Tournament of Power arc, and they have yet to be developed further. While their introduction was refreshing, their involvement was brief, and their impact on the overall story was minor compared to the main male fighters. The larger issue: female representation in anime. The Dragon Ball series is not unique in its treatment of female characters. In many shonen, young male-targeted anime and manga, women are often secondary characters or love interests, and their roles tend to revolve around supporting the male protagonists. Female fighters in anime are frequently sidelined, underdeveloped, or retired from combat in favor of more traditional roles such as being a wife, mother, or caretaker. This reflects broader cultural norms and expectations around gender roles, especially in Japan, where the series originates. In Dragon Ball, women like Chi-Chi, Bulma, and Videl start out with unique personalities and talents, but are ultimately diminished in significance compared to male fighters like Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan. Even strong fighters like Android 18 are often overshadowed by their male counterparts, despite their potential to be key players in the battles that define the series. This pattern is not just confined to Dragon Ball, but is visible in a popular anime like Naruto, Boruto, Bleach, and One Piece. Female characters often have strong beginnings, only to later serve as emotional support or background characters to the male leads. There are exceptions, like Attack on Titan's Mikasa Ackerman, who is consistently portrayed as one of the strongest and most capable fighters in the series. However, these are rare examples in the wider anime landscape. Conclusion. The lack of prominent female fighters in Dragon Ball highlights a broader issue within the series and the shonen genre itself. While the franchise has introduced some strong female characters, many are relegated to secondary roles, especially once they take on traditional family duties. Characters like Chi-Chi, Bulma, and Videl are key examples of this, with Android 18 offering a rare but brief break from this pattern. The introduction of Kale and Caulifla in Dragon Ball Super is a promising step forward, but it remains to be seen whether future iterations of Dragon Ball will more fully explore female fighters. Until then, the series reflects a long-standing trend in anime where women, even those with great potential, are often sidelined in favor of male characters and their stories. Continuing the discussion on the lack of female fighters in the Dragon Ball series, it becomes clear that the inclusion of a female character as part of the main Z fighters would not only add diversity to the cast, but also enhance the overall dynamic of the show. Over the years, the Dragon Ball series has primarily focused on male characters, with the few powerful female fighters either being sidelined or relegated to supporting roles. However, the introduction of a strong female Saiyan or the development of existing characters like Pan or Bulla could transform the series by creating a more balanced and inclusive representation of warriors in the Dragon Ball universe. The case for a female Saiyan in the main cast. Introducing a new female Saiyan to join the Z Fighters is an opportunity that the Dragon Ball series has yet to fully explore. With the vast Saiyan lore and mythology, a female Saiyan could bring a fresh perspective and untapped potential. This character could be written as a warrior with immense strength and unique abilities, rivaling or surpassing some of the main characters like Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan. A female Saiyan could represent more than just power. She could have a unique personality, backstory, and motivations. For example, her origin story could explore another surviving Saiyan from another universe or timeline, as was done with Kale and Caulifla in Dragon Ball Super. However, instead of being treated as one-off characters introduced for a specific arc, this new Saiyan could become a core part of the main group, evolving alongside the others and participating in major storylines. Moreover, this female Saiyan would provide the opportunity to explore the complexities of gender roles within Saiyan culture. While Saiyan society in Dragon Ball is often depicted as hyper-masculine, where strength is the ultimate marker of status, a strong female Saiyan could challenge and reshape these traditional perceptions, introducing a new dynamic to both the Saiyan race and the Z Fighters group. Upgrading Pan, Gohan's daughter with untapped potential. Pan, the daughter of Gohan and Videl, has incredible untapped potential that has been hinted at since her introduction. Even as a child in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT, Pan showed signs of great strength and fighting ability. However, despite this promise, Pan has not been given the opportunity to grow into a significant fighter within the main cast. In Dragon Ball Super, Pan is still a baby, but her potential as a future warrior is undeniable. Given her mixed Saiyan and human heritage, Pan has the potential to become one of the strongest characters in the series, perhaps even surpassing her father, Gohan. As the granddaughter of Goku, Pan's inclusion as a core member of the Z Fighters would carry on the legacy of her Saiyan heritage, offering an opportunity for a powerful female character to stand alongside Goku and Vegeta in the series' biggest battles. To upgrade Pan's role, the series could fast forward to her teenage or adult years, allowing her character to mature and fully embrace her role as a fighter. Her character arc could focus on the struggle of living up to the legacy of her family, learning to control her power, and finding her own path as a warrior. Pan could develop her own unique fighting style, perhaps combining the intellectual approach of her father with the raw Saiyan strength of her grandfather. Bulla, Vegeta's daughter with Saiyan royalty and strength. Another character who could be developed into a significant fighter is Bulla, the daughter of Vegeta and Bulma. Although Bulla is mostly portrayed as a non-combatant in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, her Saiyan blood gives her the potential to become a powerful warrior. Unlike Pan, who has shown some inclination toward fighting, Bulla has been more closely associated with her mother's intellect and personality. However, the idea of Bulla training to become a fighter, possibly under the guidance of her father, could be an intriguing story arc. As the daughter of Vegeta, a Saiyan prince, Bulla has the potential to tap into the royal pride and fighting spirit of her father. Vegeta, who has often been portrayed as a strict and prideful warrior, could see Bulla's potential and train her to become a powerful Saiyan warrior, perhaps even rivaling her brother, Trunks. This could introduce new character dynamics, with Bulla learning to balance the expectations of her father with her own ambitions. By developing Bulla into a fighter, the Dragon Ball series could also explore her relationship with the other Saiyan characters, particularly Goku and Vegeta. Bulla's potential to surpass her father could create tension and growth for both characters, adding depth to the father-daughter dynamic. Addressing the broader issue, female representation in Dragon Ball, the inclusion of a main female fighter in the Z Fighters cast would address a long-standing imbalance in the Dragon Ball series. Throughout the show's history, female characters have often been marginalized, with the primary focus on male warriors like Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan. While characters like Chi-Chi, Bulma, Android 18, and Videl have contributed to the story, they have largely been relegated to supportive or domestic roles after their initial introductions. The introduction or elevation of a female character in the main fighting cast would signal a shift in how the series treats its female characters, giving them more prominence in the action. Furthermore, a strong female character who can stand shoulder to shoulder with Goku and Vegeta would break the long-standing tradition of male dominance in the Dragon Ball universe. It would offer younger female viewers a powerful role model, much in the way that Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan have done for male fans. A female Saiyan or the development of Pan or Bulla could show that women in the Dragon Ball universe are just as capable of achieving the highest levels of power and importance in the story. Conclusion: the need for a female Z fighter. The Dragon Ball series has a rich history and an expansive universe filled with potential, but it has consistently failed to fully utilize its female characters, especially in terms of fighting roles. Introducing a new female Saiyan, or upgrading existing characters like Pan or Bulla to the main cast of Z Fighters would not only add diversity but also bring new story possibilities and character dynamics to the forefront. A female Z Fighter, capable of standing alongside Goku and Vegeta, would challenge the traditional gender roles in the series and show that female characters are just as central to the narrative as their male counterparts. Whether through a new character or the development of existing ones, this change would enrich the Dragon Ball universe and bring much-needed balance to the cast. It's time for the Dragon Ball series to embrace its female characters' potential and give them the spotlight they deserve.